I have repeatedly emphasized the importance of understanding the world in which one operates, knowing exactly what one is selling, and being clear about both the target audience and the sales strategy, discussed more in podcast 60. In theory, selling online should make it easier to think through and clearly explain these aspects, but in practice, that's not always the case. Hi, and welcome back to Olive Oil Drops, the first podcast entirely dedicated to olive oil lovers. This podcast is created by Marco Antonucci. This is an English version. I'm Milena. So let me clarify before I begin. The following observations do not apply to platforms dedicated to extra virgin olive oil, online stores, or company websites. Instead, they refer to producers who, upon venturing onto the internet, assume that selling their oil requires nothing more than posting a few photos or writing generic statements on popular social media platforms. The examples discussed in today's podcast were collected back in 2022 from various social media platforms. Direct references and phone numbers have been removed. Of course, these examples do not claim to be exhaustive or intended as criticism. Rather, they serve as food for thought, illustrating how not to sell olive oil, how to avoid self-sabotage, and how careless online behavior can have unintended consequences for the entire olive oil sector. Because once something foolish is published online, it's out of your control. I'll begin with the example that prompted Marco to start this inquiry. I sell extra virgin olive oil for €6 per liter this year. I guarantee quality. Intrigued by this statement, which was posted on Facebook page dedicated to selling olive oil, we ask, what do you mean by I guarantee quality? The seller's immediate response was, I assure you, it is a very good oil. When another user asked what analysis he based his claim on, the seller replied, I didn't conduct analysis this year because I produce oil at a family level, so I don't need to. But based on analysis done in previous years, I can confirm that for this type of crop and the care I put into my olive trees, the acidity is always below 0.5. Needless to say, quality cannot be measured in words. But reading that no analysis was conducted because it was deemed unnecessary due to small-scale nature of the production, followed by the claim that the cultivation and processing methods alone determine acidity, is essentially the same as telling customers, excuse me, but I have no idea what extra virgin olive oil is or how it's made. Another one. I sell extra virgin olive oil produced in-house. Our oil is an extra virgin olive oil, stone milled with a very intense flavor, processed just as it was in the past. The pressing takes place within 24 hours of harvesting, along with special characteristics of an olive tree that grows by the sea. Despite the passage of time, it keeps well due to particular acidity level developed during pressing. I do not think anyone would doubt the high acidity of this oil, processed the traditional way, stone pressed within 24 hours. Nor can anyone objectively or analytically assess the supposed evocative qualities that sea imparts to the trees. But it's important to remember that the characteristics of the fruit, and therefore the final product, depend on the cultivar, not the terroir. So it should come as no surprise that defects such as notes of vegetation water, brine, or fermentation might be misinterpreted and marketed as marine salinity. Another example, extra virgin olive oil, very good. I can deliver it to your door for free if you need it. 4 words to define the commodity classification, 7 words to describe the delivery system, and a useless adjective, very good, to describe the product. Yet, if someone were selling wine online, they wouldn't write wine, very good. I can deliver it to your door for free if you need it. Because chances are no one would buy a product described in such vague terms. Or, I sell organic oil, unpasteurized, unfiltered, with no treatments in the cellar. I can guarantee that this sentence refers to a batch of oil and the hashtag at the beginning of the sentence specifies extra virgin. It has nothing to do with wine or vinegar. It is fine to say the oil is pure olive juice, but the process it undergoes is not the same as for orange juice or wine. Listen to this one. The company seeks cooperation with grocery stores, restaurants, pizzerias, etc. For more information, contact me privately. We only know the name of the company and assume it sells oil because this notice has appeared multiple times on the bulletin board intended for buying and selling olive oil. While it is true that one must be concise, it is also important to include basic details such as what type of oil is being sold, extra virgin, olive oil, pomace, etc., and where it is produced. This information could help potential customers make informed choices. Or this one. Extra virgin olive oil, 100% organic. Olive trees are grown mainly on the rock. Once again, we see an attempt at poetic marketing. Who knows what evocative aromas these stones will impart? While the territory is indeed a crucial element in the sale of Italian products, just think of Parma and its prosciutto, Colonnata with its lard, or Montalcino with its wines, just to name a few. It is one thing to sell an oil that tells the story of its place of production, and quite another to claim that most of the plants grow on rock. It would make more sense if this were a specific type of rock with unique properties, but even then, it would still be about the narrative of the place rather than the growing medium itself, which likely adds nothing to the flavor of the extra virgin olive oil. I'm selling a poorly and cold extracted extra virgin olive oil of the highest quality produced with only 100% Italian olives. 5 liters for 40 euros, 3 liters for 27 euros. It is interesting to note that pricing structure in this sales announcement, where the price per liter drops by 10% as the quantity increases by 70%. But what's even more interesting is the claim that the oil is made from only Italian olives. This wording implies that the Apulian oil could, in fact, be made with olives from other countries. While this does happen sometimes, it is typically a form of fraud that is conveniently hidden. Here's another one. Extra virgin olive oil is as genuine and flavorful as when it's freshly made at the mill. We are farmers, not supermarket retailers, and we pay for the shipping. One contradiction after another, terms like genuine and flavorful have little relevance to the quality of the oil. Being a supermarket retailer is not inherently a bad thing, and often the oil produced by farmers leaves much to be desired. Fortunately, at least the shipping is free, as emphasized in all caps, a rare positive here. Another one. You have 2 ways to learn about the ancient milling tradition. 1. Talk to those who know it well. 2. Taste our oil must. Must is a term typically used for raw unfiltered wine juice. The must is cold pressed oil made from Oliarola and Nocellara cultivars. This message was posted in June, while olives are usually harvested in October. Thankfully, we live in the present day, not the ancient past. Otherwise, we'll be misled about the work of millers by tasting unfiltered oil 8 months after it was made. The claim cold extraction is further called into question here, especially since this oil is likely to have strong hints of fermentation and malt due to the decomposition of olive particles that were never filtered. Check podcast 19. Free shipping, strictly cold pressed, almost non-existent acidity, oil and olives are not chemically treated, 100% natural farmer quality, no factories. Once again, the phrases free shipping and cold pressed are written in all caps, possibly because the author considers these two factors to be key points in defining the quality of the oil. Then, he highlights a more significant claim that the oil comes from a farmer. This implies that it is not produced in a chemical laboratory inside a factory through esterification and is not a synthetic oil like this kind used for car engines. Well, it's unclear why the producer feels the need to make this distinction. Perhaps he fears that consumers might be confused about its quality when tasting it. Extra virgin olive oil sale, €5 per liter, call for info. Would you, as a listener of this podcast, actually make that phone call? Another one, extra virgin olive oil Lecino, cold press, 3% acidity, own production, excellent quality. Considering the stated acidity, this oil is more likely to fall into the category of lamp oil rather than being a high-quality extra virgin olive oil. I sell olive oil of my own production, cold extracted, very low acidity level, 0.6, 0.8, year 2020. Excellent quality. This ad, just to remind you, is from 2022. While acidity is not an important parameter for the average consumer, claiming that an acidity of 0.8%, which is the limit for extra virgin olive oil, is an indicator of excellent quality seems excessive. Ad on social media dedicated to extra virgin. I sell olive oil from Apulia 0.9 acidity produced in 2021-2022 harvest in October-November. €10. But is this olive oil or virgin olive oil? Based on the acidity, it would be classified as virgin. I'll close this brief review with an ad featuring a flash photograph of 3 plastic bags inside an oil mill, hermetically sealed, filled with olives. The caption reads, "Pure extra virgin olive oil from Calabria, its own production, 2021-2022 harvest, cold extracted with a very low percentage of acidity, about 2%. The author, in case there is any controversy about the high acidity level, which would downgrade the olive to virgin or lamp oil, are likely due to other defects caused by fermentation, posts a photograph to eliminate any doubt about the oil's authenticity. I'll revisit this topic in future podcasts because I think it's regrettably revealing. It highlights the need for cultural and technical growth in a sector that still often relies on the oral traditions of farmers from previous generations. And it's worth noting that olive growing is one of the few sectors where innovation has only benefited the product. If you wish to talk to us, you can do so either by email oliveoildrops@gmail.com, website www.oliveoildrops.com, where you can also find texts of these podcasts both in Italian and English, or comment space of the podcast platform you have been using and to which you can subscribe free of charge. Thank you for joining me today.